Welcome back. Hopefully you made it through your first walkthrough. This week we're going to go ahead and start working on Word Chapter 5. To get started, let's go to our My Lab and Mastering in Canvas. And we will click on Open My Lab and Mastering, this orange button here. We will go down to our assignment calendar. And we will click on the day that our assignment's due. For this particular class, it's due on the 26th. However, if you're viewing it from a different class, it might be on a different due date. This will be the last time that I go through the entire steps of going from Canvas into my IT lab. From here on out, my next videos will start in the calendar screen here and we'll download our materials. So we are working on... Oh, I apologize. We're actually on the 19th here. All right, so we are looking for Word Chapter 5 Grader Project. Here it is. Go ahead and click on Word Chapter 5 Grader Project. We will download our materials. For this particular assignment, you need your instructions. You need your student file, the one with your name. I recommend that you download your instructions and print them up for easy reference. Once again, do not click on the Download All Files button as it downloads a zip file. It makes it a little bit more difficult to save and submit. All right, so my student file has downloaded. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Click Enable Editing, and here is our assignment. All right, for step number 2, it wants us to select the first paragraph and then apply the heading 1 style. So right here is our first paragraph. Once again, if you do not have your paragraph markings turned on, please come to the Home tab and click under the paragraph grouping this little Show Hide button, and you will now see where your paragraph marks are. So we're going to go ahead and highlight New Gift Ideas for the business professional. And we want to apply a heading 1 style. So we'll come up here to our Home tab under our styles grouping. Right here it is for me. I can click right here. However, if you don't see that, you can click the down arrow with the line above it. And here it is, heading 1 style. And there it is. Notice how it gives us a nice heading 1 style to our first line. Now it wants us to select the second paragraph. So let's go ahead and highlight Just in Time for the Gift Giving Season all the way down to We All Rely. And let's change our font size to 12. Up here in the font grouping, click on font size, which is 11, and we'll make it 12. All right, for step number 3, it wants us to select the remaining 3 paragraphs. So we're going to go ahead and select Compact Bag all the way down to 209. And we will change the font size to 14. So we'll come up here to our font group and change it to 14. And with the text still selected, we want to convert text to table. So we'll do that under the Insert tab. Under the Insert tab, we have our tables. We'll click on Table. And we will select Convert Text to Table. And we want it to have 3 columns and 3 rows. So number of columns 3, number of rows 3. Go ahead and hit OK. And now we have a 3-column, 3-row table. So now we're going to edit this to make it look a little bit more visually appealing. So for step number 4, it wants us to go to the Styles pane, and we want to click on a New Style button. So we'll come up here to our Table Tools Design tab. Here is our table styles. We'll click the down arrow with the line above it, and we are going to do a new table style. And we are going to name this style Gift, capital G. Remember, we need to make sure we pay attention to our spelling and our case. We want to style type to be a table, which it already should be, but if not, go ahead and hit the down arrow and make it a table. We want to apply style to all borders. So we'll come down here and we will find this icon right here, click the down arrow and hit all borders. Notice how it will put all borders in here for us. We want to set the line weight to 1.5 points. So right here we have it set to 1/2. We want to change it to 1.5 point. Notice how the lines got thicker. We also want to set our border color to green. So right here where it says automatic, we want to click the down arrow. And we want to do green accent 6, darker 25%. So it should be this color right here. Then we want to change the fill color to green accent 6, lighter 80%. So we'll come here where it says no color. We'll click the down arrow. Find our green accent 6 again, but this time we want lighter 80%, which is the second one down right here. And now we have a nice little shading. And go ahead and hit OK. Now that we've created this style, we need to apply the style. Notice that we should now see the style here under the Table Tools Design tab. If you don't see it there, you can click on the down arrow and it should be under Custom. But go ahead and click on, and if you hover over it, it says Gift. Go ahead and click on that and notice how it will change the table to the formatting that we created. So on step number 5, it wants us to click on the first cell of the table. So I'm going to go ahead and click where it says Compact Bags. And it says on the Table Tools Layout tab. So I'll come up here to my Table Tools and click on the Layout tab. In the Table Group, over here, Table Group, click on Select. I want to use the Select button right here. And I'm going to select Column. And notice now it will select the entire column for me. We want to change this column width to 1.25. So notice how I have up here it says cell size. I want to change the width to 1.2. So change it from 2.16, change it to 1.2 and hit enter. Now it wants us to change the second column to 4.5. So I'm going to click in the second column here. I'm going to come back up here to my Table Tools Layout tab, to the Select, and I'm going to select Column again. Notice how it will select my entire column for me. I want to change the width of this to 4.5, so I'm going to change it from 2.16 to 4.5. Hit Enter. And this one's running off the page now, so I want to go ahead and click on the third column here. Come back over here to Select. I'm going to select my column. And I'm going to change the width of this column to 0.7. So I'm going to change it to 0.7 and hit Enter. And there we go. We now have all our table on the page. Now it says position the insertion point anywhere in the first row. So I'm just going to go ahead and click over here back in Compact Bags. And it wants me to insert row above. I'll come up here to the Table Tools, the Layout tab, and Insert Above under Rows and Columns. And when I click on that, I now have a new row. So let's go ahead and click in this first cell right here and type in Item. Hit the Tab key. Type in description in the second column. Hit the tab key to move over to the third column and type in price. It wants us to select all of these items, so I'm going to come back up here to my select group and hit select row. And notice when I hit select row, the first row should be highlighted. I'm going to bold, so I'm going to hold down my control key and hit B for bold. And that will bold everything for me. And it wants me to align center. So I'm going to come up here to my alignment grouping under the Table Tools Layout tab, alignment grouping, and I want to find align center, which is this one right here. And it will center everything for me. So now for step number 7, it wants me to change the row heights of 2, 3, and 4 to 1.5, 1.8, and 1.4 respectively. So I'm going to come to where it says compact bags. I'm going to click on compact bags, and I will come up to my select button here, select row. Notice how the entire row is selected. And I'm going to change my height to 1.5 and hit enter. And then I'm going to click on Streamline Totes. Come up to my select group, my select button, select row. And I'm going to change that height to 1.8. Hit enter. And lastly, I want to click on large tote, click on the select button, and hit select row again. Once again, selects the entire row, and we will change the row height to 1.4 and then hit enter. So our table's come along quite nicely. We've changed our column widths, we've changed our row heights. Now it says in the first column, select all the cells below the header row. So unfortunately, we can't select the entire row. So let's go ahead and come up here and click on Compact Bag. And then starting at the front of Compact Bag, click, hold, and drag all the way down until you highlight all three of these items right here in the first row, or first column. We want to apply bold and center. So go ahead and hold down your control key and hit B for bold. Notice how it will bold it for us. It wants us to align center. We'll come back up here to our table tools layout. Under our alignment group, we're going to hit align center. And it wants us to click on the text direction 2 times. So notice right next to our center align, we have this text direction. I'm going to click on it once, and then I'm going to click on it one more time. And now our items are sideways going up and down. Now it wants us to select the second column, all the cells below the header row. So right here where it says special features, I'm going to highlight. Notice that if I go over to the S, I get this weird arrow. We don't want that. So go ahead and you can start right by the P. So if you click and hold and drag down, it will highlight everything for us except for that description. Everything here else is highlighted. It wants us to align center left. I'll come back up here to my table tools layout. Under my alignment grouping, I will find where it says align center left, this button right here. And then in the last column, we are going to select 149 all the way down to 209. Once again, I'm going to start in the middle of the price. So right where it's at the 4, I'm just going to click, hold, and drag down all the way to 209. Let go. And I want to align center. So I'll come back up here to my alignment and click on align center. Now it says for step number 9, we want to point to the bottom left corner of the table. So I'm going to come over here and point to the bottom left corner of the table. Notice how I get this little plus sign that pops up right here. I'm going to click on that plus sign, and it's going to insert a blank row underneath the table. It wants us to change the height of this row to 0.4. So if you have not clicked on anything else, it should still be highlighted. If not, come back up here, hit select, and select row. And we're going to change the height to 0.4. So where it says height, let's change it to 0.4 and hit enter. For step number 10, it wants us to select the first and second cell. So notice right now we have all 3 selected. I want to go ahead and click in the second cell right here. Just click once. Notice how it will deselect everything. And then I'm going to click, hold, and drag. So just these 2 are now highlighted. And it wants me to merge the cells. So I'll come up here to my table tools, my layout tab. Under the merge grouping here, I'm going to hit merge cells. It wants me to click the text direction button 1 time. So notice how right here it says my text direction. I'm going to click on it once. And then it wants me to align center right. So I'll come up here to my alignment grouping. I will click on the align center right button right here. And now I'm going to type in average price. And average price should now be right here. And it wants me to apply bold, so I'm going to highlight average price. And I'm going to hold down Control key and hit B for bold. Now we want to, in the last cell of the table, we're going to insert a formula. So let's go ahead and click in this cell right here. And under our Table Tools Layout tab, notice that we have under the data grouping a formula button. Let's go ahead and click on formula. And notice our formula here, it already puts one in for us. It says equal sum above. We don't want it to equal sum above. We want it to be equal average above. So you can go ahead and just put your cursor right after the M in sum, delete the sum, and type in average. So it should say equal average and in parentheses above. And it wants us to change the number format to £, comma, £, £0. So right here where it says number format, I'll hit the down arrow. And here it is, £, comma, £0. And it wants us to type a $sign in front of that. So let's go ahead and just put our cursor right in front of the first £sign and put in a $sign. And go ahead and hit OK. And it will put in a price of $1.86 for us. Let's go ahead and bold that. So go ahead and highlight. Go ahead and highlight the 186 and the $sign and hold down the Control key and hit B for bold. And it will bold that for us. Looks like we want to add another row to the bottom of our table. So let's go ahead and come to the bottom corner right here again and hit the plus button once. It's going to add another row for us. And both cells are selected. I'm going to go ahead and click on this here. And then I want to re-highlight this. That way this isn't selected. So I'm going to highlight this right here, both of these cells. You can do that by clicking here and going up to the select and select row. And it looks like I want to merge. So I'm going to come up here to the Table Tools Layout and I'm going to click Merge Cells. Now it says with both cells merged, I want to insert a nested table containing one row and two columns. To do that, I'm going to come to my Insert tab. From my Insert tab, I'm going to click on Table. And notice how it won't let me select anything. It's because we have this whole thing highlighted. I'm just going to go ahead and click once right here. It's going to deselect this row. You'll see my cursor is now flashing inside of it. Now I'm going to come up here to my tables. And now I can insert a one row, two columns. So here we go, one row, two columns. So it's a nested table. And it wants me to select both cells. So I'm going to go ahead and click and hold and drag and select both of these cells inside of here. And it wants me to select no border. So I'm going to come up here to my Table Tools Design. Under Borders, it says Borders right here. I'm going to click the down arrow. And I'm going to do no border. And for you, so we can have a visual reference of the table being inside, our nested table being inside that cell, come back up here to the Borders group. Click on the down arrow with Borders. And click on this View Grid Lines. And that will give you a grid line of where that table is so we can do our rest of our formatting to it. So now it says from the Table Tools, we want to change all cell margins to 0.1. So I'm going to come up here to my Table Tools, my Layout tab here. And I want to find my cell margins right here under Alignment. And I want to change all of these to 0.1. So I'm going to type in 0.1, then go to the bottom, 0.1, and then left and right, I'm going to change them both to 0.1 and 0.1. And it says set allow spacing between cells to 0.02. So right here where it says allow spacing between cells, I'm going to put a check mark there. And I'm going to change this to 0.02, and hit OK. And now we have a little bit of a definition here. And lastly, it wants us to apply center, apply align center. So we'll come up here to our alignment grouping, and I will click on align center. All right, now in step number 14, it wants us to click on the first cell of the nested table. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to click on this first cell of the nested table. And it wants us to type as a sales incentive during December, comma space, these items will be available at a 25% discount. Make sure you get the period in there. And notice how I must have done a little bit of misspelling here. So I'm going to fix my spelling errors. I'm going to change it to sales. Incentive. And then change during. So as a sales incentive during December, comma space, these items will be available at a 25% discount, and make sure you get that period. So double check, make sure you have your punctuation correct, your case correct, and make sure you have your spelling correct. Now it says in the second cell of the nested table, we are going to insert an Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to click in this second cell of our nested table. And we're kind of going with cell inception here. We're going to go with table inception. We have a table, and inside that table we have another table, and inside that table we are going to insert another table in the form of an Excel spreadsheet. To do this, we're going to click on our cell here, and then I'm going to come to the Insert tab. Under Insert tab, I'm going to click on Table, and I'm going to come down here to Excel Spreadsheet. And when I click on Excel Spreadsheet, it's going to take a few seconds. I'm going to get this Excel spreadsheet here. And let's go ahead and type in our information. So in cell A1, we want to type in retail price. Once I've typed in retail price, I'm going to use my arrow key to go to A2. And in A2, I'm going to type in discount. And then in A3, I'm going to hit the down arrow, go to A3. I'm going to type in sales price, or sale price. Using my arrow key, I'm going to go over one and up one to cell B2 and type in 25%. And then I'm going to hit the down arrow key, and I'm going to type in this formula, the equal sign, B1 times 0.75. And go ahead and hit enter. So now right here I should have an A1, a retail price, discount, sale price, and then 25%, and that formula equal sign B1 times 0.75. So once I have this typed in, I can go ahead and hit the X button up here. And right there, it put it in for us. If need be, you can resize it to the size that you need it. You can click on it, and then you could use this these little dots here to resize it so it looks just like this. All right, now I can go ahead and click in a blank area of the document. And I'm just going to kind of look over it one last time. This is what it should look like. Looks very nice. We're finished. We can go ahead and save the document. So let's go ahead and hit save. You can also go to the File tab and hit save. We can close out of our assignment. Go back to our download starting materials. We can exit out of this. Where it says upload completed assignment, we'll choose File. Go to our downloads folder. And right here it is, student file, should have your name. Go ahead and click on that and hit open. Upload. And submit for grading. and close assignment. So now that we're finished, I want to see how well I did. In case I made any mistakes, I can go back and fix them. So I'm going to scroll all the way down to Word Chapter 5. I'm going to click on the 3 dots right here and hit View Submissions. And it looks like I got 100%. If you got something less than that, you can click on the assignment right here. And you can scroll down and see your report card and see exactly what you did or did not do wrong. And you can go back and fix it and turn it in for a better grade. Remember, you can turn these in as many times as you want for the best grade possible. If you need to contact me through Canvas, and have a wonderful day.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe to the channel, as I'll be posting new walkthroughs and tech tips each week. Check back regularly for new content, and have a wonderful day.